All right, we are back, day 630 something. So we are going to do the following here. We're going to now read these instructions. All right, so as you can see, you can only see me, but I'm going to read a document that I've prepared with some ideas that I spent about 20 minutes writing out my most important outcomes. Now I have taken my phone out of my pocket and I will now speak in the instruction to give even more clarity to that. Now, on my phone, I have this gentleman here, which is the prompt engineer, a custom GPT from the GPT store. And if you're wondering, yes, you can use it for free, and I'm using it for free too. Now, to be very transparent, I have a paid Claude account, but I do have a free ChatGPT account so that you can save on subscriptions. Wouldn't that be nice? With that, let's grab your coffee and let's just, jump straight in. Anyway, so that was the intro that could have gone better, but now the prompt engineer. Here we go. Okay, so some names may be redacted, and I'm going to speak that in and let it make sense for it. Without further ado, let's go. Hello, prompt engineer. I would love for you to help me clarify the following. I have a document in front of me, and I need you to write me some prompts for Claude. So that it can give more context and clarify specifically the outcomes around the projects that I'm working on. Now, there are 3 or 4 projects that I'm working on here at the same time that I'm just setting some time for it to work on. And so you please clarify the outcomes of what I would like to achieve. First of all, I would love to clarify and brainstorm the outcomes for my session with my good friend Chris that is about to happen. Now, what I would love the meeting to be about, and you please make sense of all of that. If I go back and forth between one or the other, you just structure that and give out one prompt each. If it's too long for you, then please save the other ones in your memory and then prompt me whether I would like you to give me out the next prompt afterwards. So that's all good. So with that, first, Chris, so we're going to have a meeting and we're going to be talking about, first of all, the talking point, which is going to be Richard, where I've talked to him about a system, how we can help him get better organized. How do we basically transform all of the deliverables for the AI transformation deals that he is selling and helping clients with, transforming all of that into the right way and with the right deliverables, also with timelines for the deliverables, etc. Now, that is the first talking point. So we're going to be talking about Richard. The outcome of that particular talking point is going to be that we find a way for him to get more organized, to stay ahead of his deliverables and find a way to stay organized, and then also to accurately assess how much time it is going to take to deliver each of those deliverables, and also have the predictive analysis of how long it would take so that he can say no to the projects or defer them for a later point before even saying yes and committing to them. Now, that's number one. Second of all, the second talking point for Chris is going to be the funnel. So I will walk him through copy of my client that he wrote, that he's gotten great reply rates, and then the funnel that he has also set up with these dynamically changing variables. And I would love to have 2 pieces of input from him. Number one is how he would structure the changing information in the email copy so that I can utilize that for my own outreach to my LinkedIn connections, and so that we can then also see if we can maybe set up some high-level campaigns for those. Then I would also clarify with him how he, generally speaking, sees the funnel, how he would see the funnel. So for me personally, I think that it is going to go, first of all, a message, and then I send over my calendar link. The calendar link is already specified. I think cal.com has this functionality that we can basically add in his name as well, but it doesn't need to be. That's all just like being fancy and like can add this later on. But like a 15-minute calendar link with me for them to book. And then once they have booked, the confirmation page after that is then their custom domain, where we really explain what they can utilize for their AI transformation journey. I don't really think that I would make such a page before that. I think that would be too salesy. So I really would love to keep the current conversation flow up to the point of booking a meeting with me. But the question that I have is like, what should I offer, or what should I look for? What are the data points that I should be looking for, or that I should rather instruct my automations to look for, so that it can aggregate the semantic summary of that. So that would basically be all so far. So these are the two main conversation points. Then there's another conversation point around video editing, but I have not really worked with that. But that is basically the third conversation point that I would like to speak to him about. That would be from my side. So I would like to touch upon two topics, which is Agent Zero and then also re-emotion, that is REMOTION, for the programmatic video editing. Now, then I would also love to hear his take on where his current client projects are at and how he would see the meeting with Richard and the solution that Richard is building specifically for him, how he would like to work. And you please give that back to me as you process all of this information, how he would like to work, whether he would like to see everything right within anti-gravity without even seeing all of the interfaces, and whether, for example, motion MCP would be something that you also would utilize. That's not Notion, that is motion, MOTION. Whether that is also something that he would consider. So that's basically it for Chris. Please help me make sense of all of this. And so then, so that's then also the roadmap. This is what I wrote down here. So figuring out what specific ID tags need to be set for them, and then going over the email copy, right? What should I open the conversation with, right? Figuring out what specific ID tags I need to set for them, and then the structure of the funnel, how I should set this up, because once that is set up, I can just host it and clarify all of that. And if we were to be able to build all of that in Go High Level natively, there is then also this beautiful Go High Level bot that another client of mine has set up with these smart websites that he has also been working with Mark. I introduced them earlier. And so that would then basically also allow you or somebody else that we can put in there, maybe like a VA or so, be able to take on this messaging flow, right? And then jump in whenever it's necessary. So like whenever they interact with that page, right, we could do that. And so we will need to clarify how this funnel can look like, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then we can also see if we maybe, if I also warm up like a few more inboxes, like I wouldn't be opposed to that, like investing in some more domains. You already said that you have an instantly subscription, etc. So please clarify these talking points for Chris, and then we go right into the other prompts for the other projects here. Thank you very much. Good. So as you can see, it is really that easy. You can also see that I have a lot of deep processing around all of this. And so, it's pretty interesting. So now we're going to hit pause and check on the quinoa that is boiling in the kitchen. Okay, quinoa is boiling, and so is the temperament inside of my soul. So we are going to create the second prompt, which is that was Chris, Jorge's automation. All right, good. So the next prompt, please, is for my other client, Jorge. And what he really wants and needs is the following. So a little bit of context there. He does talent sourcing, staffing, and he acts as the project manager. And there's a lot of benefits. I can give you his website copy, etc., so you can make sense of that information. But in a nutshell, what is important for this automation to do is, I said to him that, okay, I'm going to set you up an automation, and maybe it might make sense here to even start a new chat and give you all of the context again, so you can give like a proper prompt for all of this. In fact, I might do this, but just give out your ideas currently for now. Basically what we said we are going to set up is an automation that helps him draft, or that helps him get drafted emails from me for the businesses that he wants to contact, that he wants to do business development for, like that he wants to get his clients, like his prospects, right, which are recently funded startups. So once a press release comes out, and we have also said that we actually prioritize the Spain-based companies first, then European companies, and then American companies. It pulls in press releases, and then it basically creates a research automation based on all of the context of the startup. And here I also need you to help me clarify the data points that we also need to gather here, that I should instruct the automation to take a look at and look for. So we have Exa AI, we have Tavily, Tavily, and also Perplexity, as well as Applefy, which we can utilize in order to scrape a whole lot more of information. And so that basically is it. So here's the outcome, right? Envision that from my point of view and from his point of view. So from his point of view, he's going to get, and then also let's think through this from his clients, the email recipient's point of view, which is also very good and very important. And the same I'm going to be doing for Chris, as I'm just realizing that, putting myself in the shoes of the customer and thinking all of this through from the client's point of view, thinking it through, putting ourselves in his shoe and thinking it through. Okay, no need to be fancy, no need to rhyme. Okay, let's go. So for Jorge's client, they received the email, they have just recently been funded, and they are somebody who accurately understands founders' pain points after they've been funded. So it would also make sense to basically aggregate and enrich this data with YouTube channels. And this is one point that I would like you to note down right now. This is a great idea, because I have another project in a different folder where we basically take YouTube podcasts and transcribe them and put them into a knowledge base. And so I need you to instruct and write instructions for the other folder, for the other project, to basically do deep research, which you can also do with Perplexity, to find niche podcasts where recently funded startups really are talking about their experience after just having closed a round, specifically around hiring. These are the data points and the decision points that we really truly want to find out. So startups who in retrospect have either raised the seed round, Series B, Series A, Series C, any of the funding rounds, specifically in Europe. You can also search for Spanish channels, but mainly Spain, like European-based Spanish-speaking companies, that would be important, and in the US and in Europe. In fact, do that basically in terms of, in order of importance. First the Spanish, then generally Europe, and then American companies. But find podcasts specifically where these founders have talked about the challenges with hiring and the pressures of hiring the right team, especially the right technical team. I need you to find technical companies, technology companies, right, who are looking for engineers, specifically AI companies, right, who are looking for technical talent and who have had challenges with it. And I need you to pull out the pain points and their experience, the real words that they've utilized from these transcripts. And I need you to also make me a different folder to find that, right? Find that information. And then we utilize that information and query that to engineer the copy from these recently funded startups, right? Specifically in around hiring and training, etc. So that's one task that I need you to queue. And so the outcome is that from Jorge's client point of view, they receive this email and they feel like this person understands them. This person understands their pain, what they're going through, what they really need after the funding round in terms of bringing on more clients, and all of their fears, everything that's keeping them up at night, etc. That's what we need to engineer. And so, we also have some great email copy from a friend of mine who already did that successfully. And so please help me clarify that. Thank you very much. Good, that was the second prompt. Now we chew on a carrot and get back to work. Okay, carrot and avocado are cut, ready to be chewed upon, and now we will go forward with the project for Josh. Thank you very much, this is so kind of you. Now please help me clarify that for the project for Josh as well, right? Which is going to be very important. Now, Josh has very different specifications. Josh basically wants to impress his the person that he is working for and utilizing the office of, which is James. And James has an app that basically helps companies get in contact and sponsor creators. So what we need to do is aggregate a database of creators. And so he has given me a screenshot of what he needs the table to be like and the data points that he needs to find from creators. And so we need to do the following. First of all, I needed to accurately read the screenshot that I've already attached and ask it please whether it still has the data of what data points he showed me in the Zoom call that I took a screenshot of, whether it remembers this context. If not, I'll give it to it again, no worries. Second of all, we need to clarify then whether we can already start with the database of the $100 million creator club, which is something that it knows the reference of, which is the database that I've already given it to scrape, where it was like figuring out how to scrape that utilizing Firecrawl, etc. That is the second subtask in that. And then the third subtask would be to find out how do we find more of these Instagram creators. It will also go together with the meeting transcript that we're going to analyze from him once again. Figuring out how we can aggregate this data. So I need you to go on Appify and then figure out what are ways how we can scrape Instagram profiles, or do deep research on where already other creator databases are, like the one that we currently have. In fact, I'm going to do this right now with Perplexity. So we're going to give out this database and we're going to tell it the following here. And I need you to consider the same, whether with Perplexity and Tavily and XAI, that needs to be in the documentation, or rather in the action items for this automation, to figure out where can we find existing databases, because people have already aggregated that. We don't need to scrape that. We can utilize the existing data that we find on the internet and then extrapolate upon that once we found the data. So the idea for that is here the following: deep research. All right. Hello Perplexity, I need you to please produce the following deep research task for me. Go on the internet and find other creators or created databases rather that have Instagram creators aggregated. I will give you the screenshot of what my client, like the data points that my client is looking for. You need to analyze the screenshot, and then I'm going to give you a database that I've already found. So you need to crawl that and then find others on the web where specifically Instagram influencers are already listed, and then finding the databases or the data on the internet, so that you can tell me which ones of those we can find. Thank you very much. So let me stop the dictation. Here's the transcript. So we are then utilizing the transcript here. And so the outcome for all of that is that he has a database which basically allows his clients, so the users of the app, to get in contact with the influencers that we scrape. So we need to put ourselves in the client's shoes, which basically means that we understand who they are and what they want. So yes, please create the prompt for that. Thank you very much. Good, so that was the next prompt. Now we go here and create the screenshot one more time. It's easy. One more time with a snipping tool.